Hello, ladies. What day is it today?
Christmas.
That's mad.
All right. Can we sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas"?
I'll do it.
Okay, you do it, Danielle.
You join in.
I wish you a Merry Christmas. I
Wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Keep singing. I'm going to show everyone where we are for Christmas.
to you and your
It's about 6:30 at night.
tidings
This is our balcony.
and a happy
New Year.
The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was like no other. None of us had ever seen anything like this before.
It was the largest rupture in history.
Catastrophe is unfolding in southern Asia right now. The strongest earthquake in 4 decades.
The tragedy of staggering proportions.
I can see it's moving really fast. And then I heard my husband, and he was swallowed up first.
I heard my mom shouting, "I don't want to die." I said, "Yeah, okay, let's swim." I forgot about my fear. I could not say no to everyone calling for help.
Yeah, you don't cry. You're a good girl. You're a strong girl.
Wonderful people stood up and were counted. They were able to become a hero for a day.
We arrived in Khao a few days before. I remember being very, very hot. And we had a long walk with these big backpacks. And after that long, dusty walk, getting those bags off and getting to sea for the first time was incredible. Myers Quiet Zone was lovely. Very hospitable, welcoming. It had lots of little huts we just set back from the waterline. Tourists loved it. The morning of 26th December, we had breakfast with our parents. I was 15, and my brother Theo was 11. Mum and Dad, from a very early age, would love to explore. They'd both done a lot of travelling. And then once they were together and had us, they wanted to instill that in us and get us exploring. Theo, as a younger brother, would be by my side, follow me along. Back then, we were best friends, and we just did everything together. We just had a bit of time before we were heading out on a snorkeling trip, just out off the coast. and it was another glorious day in Thailand.
At the time this region was at war, there was a lot of violence. There were rebels who wants to have independence and fight with the Indonesian government. I'm a cameraman and filmmaker. And my job is to show what happens in Aceh. Me and my wife just married for 3 months. We still are living at my mom's house. I was very close with my mom.
They closed the border. All foreigners were stopped from coming in. So I was told I could stay as long as I stayed within the confines of where I am here. So that was fine. Surfing's been a big part of my life. And surfing in the tropics is as good as it gets. Well, it was a beautiful day. But then the earthquake started. And it was massive.
People were already on the street. And I tried to stand, but I can't. I see my mom. And she said to me that, can you just be with me this time? And I just said, no, I really need to film this. And I'll be back soon when I finish everything. And my mom said that I'll be home when you finish.
In 2004, I was working at the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. And I was on duty. I had just laid down for a nap, and I was sort of on that edge of grogginess, and the alarm went off. And I can get some idea right away looking at the pager. This could be a large earthquake. We came up with a magnitude of 8, which is quite large, and we figured out the location, which was about 150 miles off Banda Aceh in the Indian Ocean. That spiked my adrenaline, because an earthquake that occurs under the ocean actually lifts the ocean bottom. Imagine a line of 1,000 kilometers of water being lifted vertically. And then the water, of course, peaks, and then gravity pulls it down. When the gravity pulls it down, the wave separates and spreads out in 2 different directions. And as you get near a coast, you're not going to see what we think of as ocean waves. I think of it as more like a steamroller of water, just shearing its way inland. But we're the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. So our focus was the Pacific, which in this case is the wrong ocean. And we sent out essentially a message saying there's no threat of a dangerous tsunami in the Pacific. But in the Indian Ocean, tsunamis are rare. And so there was just no system at all, no warning center, very few water level recording systems. There was no way to even contact them, but even if there had been a means to contact them, there would have been no way to warn them before the wave.
We jumped to our car, and I give the camera and tripod to my wife. I can see so many collapsed buildings, and then so many injured people. But I'm thinking that maybe it's over. I'm not sure.
After the earthquake, all of my family went outside the house. I just got my birthday present from my father, handycam. So everywhere I go, I keep shoot everything that I think interesting for me. All my extended family came to Banda Aceh to prepare for my cousin's wedding. We already prepared everything with the beautiful dress, so all the family of the brides is together. I look at all my family faces. They are not feeling panic. No panic.
It was eerily quiet, very dense feeling. And then we heard this boom, boom, boom coming from the sea. Now, it sounded like bombs. And my wife goes, that's got to be waves. And I kind of didn't think it was waves. Like, it didn't sound like waves to me, like, at all. But she was right. It was like white water. And it was just full of brown and white, yellow foam, stuff in it. It was quite creepy. And I didn't know what was going to happen. But I knew I had to go. We got into our car, so we just floored it and went straight up. So as we turned the corner away from the beach, I look in the side mirror, and that's when I actually saw the wave. We get to a hill, and we were completely surrounded by raging water within seconds of arriving.
So we're filming at the Grand Mosque. And then suddenly my wife yelled to me. And it's already like confusing me a lot. And then suddenly I can see the first water coming. and the direction is going to my house. So I jumped to the Jeep, and then people start to climb on the back of the Jeep. I can see two old women in the middle of the street, confused and scared. And I can see one of them is blind. So I jump out from the car. I did it. I jumped out the car and then grabbed them like really quickly. Maybe it took 1 minute. And then we go. I remember my mom. I already tell her that I'll be back. I'm start crying, man. I'm so sorry. I just remember that I really need to save her. She's the only one I have after my father died. And we keep driving to my house. It's already chaos. People running in panic. And I can hear air laut naik, air laut naik. The water is coming from the sea. We finally arrived to the entrance of my village. Like everybody tried to come out from the village, like really chaos and panic situation. Do I wait for my mom or keep driving to save so many lives in my Jeep? So I stopped for a while. The water is really already close to us. And suddenly I see my mom. I meet her finally. It's the happiest time in my life, man. And then we keep driving. But I can feel the water. And I can see on the mirror of my car, it's really high water. And I just like, what is that?
Saya terjatuh, berdua istri. Kemudian langsung tergulung air yang besar. Kehidupan pada saat itu sangat berkecukupan. Umur anak saya yang pertama 4 tahun, yang kedua 1,5 tahun. Waktu saat kena air itu saya mendekap anak saya yang umur 4 tahun. Saya di bawah tumpukan sampah. Saya berusaha untuk muncul ke depan. Tapi anak-anak saya dekap terus, mendekap.
My father yelled to us, "Go to the second floor, everybody." I shoot everything because I want this recording to be a gift to the world if I die today. From the balcony, we saw a lot of people who are asking for help. We cannot help them. It's so far away, and the water is so fast. That's why I say, please forgive me, I cannot help you. There's nothing we can do.
We're still flying blind, and at this point we can't actually observe the tsunami because we don't have any water level data. So we start looking more closely at the earthquake source itself. And we thought, okay, we have a magnitude 8, and we're trying to reanalyze the magnitude with more data. And then we got a magnitude 8.5. And although you think of 8.5 versus 8, so what? 0.5, right? The earthquake magnitude scale is a logarithmic scale. And each difference in magnitude is about a 30-time increase in energy. So we called the director of the warning center and basically said, hey, Chip, this is significantly larger than we had thought.
The world had not seen an earthquake as big as an 8.5 in 39 years. And so we knew there's almost certainly was a pretty destructive tsunami there in Indonesia. And at that point, I decided I had to get back to the center. We were thinking, well, what is it that we could do in the absence of any tsunami warning system? And we made a few phone calls to try and spread this information around. We have phone numbers for key contacts in every country in the Pacific, but none of that existed in the Indian Ocean. And imagine at the far end receiving a call from someone you don't know who doesn't speak your language and then asking them to evacuate their coasts and hoping they just believe you.
I believe we reached out to Australia. My colleague Stuart Weinstein was trying to get through to Indonesia, but nobody was answering. We are realizing that this could affect many, many lives, in the thousands, potentially. And it's kind of a combination of horror and frustration. And now there could be a much larger area affected by the tsunami. Instead of just affecting the local coastlines, we could now go 300, 400, 500 kilometers or more.
Theo and I were sat on a little veranda outside our room, playing a bit of cards and listening to some music. And our dad rushed over to where we were sat outside and just said, "Come have a look here. There's something, the locals are looking at the waterline and are not sure what's going on." So Theo and I had followed Mum and Dad to the waterfront. At this point, the beach had expanded by hundreds of meters and the water had withdrawn. And you could just see blue sea with a little bit of a wave in it. It was just water on the horizon that looked unusual. There were lots of people just lined up along the front, people asking each other what was happening. It was curiosity. It certainly wasn't a danger. But very quickly, that sort of curiosity turned to panic. And everyone was rushing in the other direction, away from the sea. And Theo and I just joined the rush. As we were running, we were holding hands. I do recall Theo saying, "What about Mum and Dad?" And I didn't have an answer, really. I very much felt like I had to step up and be the older brother. We didn't know where our parents were, and yeah, I needed to be the one that kept him safe and protected him. Water then reached us and knocked us off our feet and was just moving us inland. Theo and I are holding on to each other. The water was just rushing around us. And then Theo and I couldn't hold on to each other any longer. We were pulled apart. And then, once I resurfaced, I couldn't see Theo anywhere. Then someone reached out a hand and pulled me into the building. Once I got up into that building, I remember just throwing up. I remember the view, the pure carnage of rushing water. I was looking out back towards the sea, but there was no sort of line where the sea finished. The water was everywhere. And I just screamed out. The only thing I could do, I screamed out for Mum and Dad and Theo and just heard nothing.
I tried to escape from the water. I remember I have to keep recording everything. When I arrived in the bridge, I saw everything was flattened. I was really shocked. This is the moment that I realized this is a disaster. There must be a lot of people dead. And then from the top of the bridge, I see people standing on the top of the debris. They try to escape. Some people lived, but some fell and never come back again. Gone forever. It's very traumatic for me because there's nothing I can do. But when the water's low, I saw someone shouting very loudly, asking help. I saw people try to pull something. I don't want to miss the moments. So I keep rolling and keep recording it.
Saya mau manggil orang, kemari. Kemari, tarik, tolong, bilang itu ada orang hanyut, tolong. Saya berpikir, ya Allah selamatkanlah anak ini. Anak ini harus segera diselamatkan. Dia bilang, Papa. Saya saat itu belum berkeluarga, saya masih lajang, usia 25 tahun. Saya bilang, ini Papa, saya bilang. Dan langsung saya melarikan ke rumah sakit. Saya titipkan anak bayi ini kepada suster, tolong dijaga, tolong dirawat. Saya tidak bertemu lagi dengan bayi itu. Tapi hati kecil saya menyatakan anak itu terselamatkan.
When the tsunami stopped, I heard my father and my brother looking for something. I came on inside the house. I said, what is it? My father said, there's somebody yelling for help.
Ada orang.
I'm the first one who saw the man under stairs.
Itu.
Tahan ya sebentar, tahan ya.
Tolong Pak, pegangan Pak.
Saya melihat ada seorang perempuan itu dengan memegang sebuah kamera. Perasaan saya udah nggak ada lagi. Saya masuk itu melalui tembok, bukannya dari pintu atau di jendela. Karena terasa pada saat itu memang kepala kejedot tembok memang. saya beranggapan itu apakah ini udah berada di alam lain. Nah, disitulah saya mendengar saya kayaknya ada orang berbicara. Nah, disitulah saya merasa, aduh, ini masih ada upaya untuk selamat. Itulah yang saya pikirkan. Posisi jalan sudah mulai mengering. Kami melewati mayat yang bergelimpangan di pinggir jalan.
A lot of my family don't survive. They all came to Aceh to attend the wedding, and suddenly in seconds they're gone. We don't even find their body.
Everybody lost somebody. Myself, I lost 50 members of my family.
Saya ditenggelamkan lagi oleh air sampai muncul lagi di bawah jembatan Surabaya. Ada perahu warga sekitar yang ingin menyelamatkan. Saya tidak peduli tentang pertolongan itu. Saya tetap duduk di situ. Pikiran saya kosong. Waktu saat kena air itu saya mendekap anak saya. Karena saya buru-buru naik ke atas, anak itu udah nggak ada lagi di tangan. Saya tidak berusaha untuk ingin lanjut hidup lagi. Cuma itu yang bisa saya ceritakan.
Once the water had retreated, I climbed out and went onto the road. There's a large part of my brain that still thought, this is just a dream. This is going to reset itself, and we'll go back to normal, and I'll find Mum and Dad and Theo, and life will be fine. But at that point, I remembered my brother Theo. I did feel like I should have protected him. I should have kept him closer, but unfortunately, I was the sheer power of the water and what happened just was out of your hands. Met this friend family that I'd recognised from a hotel, so I kind of tagged onto them. Everyone was trying to get to higher ground. And then there was another group coming up. And they had a young boy with them. And then they came around the corner. And I recognized immediately it was Theo.
Someone asked me, do you have a brother? And I said, yes. Yes, his name is Louis.
I remember seeing him for the first time. And I was, just overwhelmed with joy and relief and love. And as soon as I saw him, I screamed down to him and then rushed out. Just couldn't let go of him.
I just remember being so in shock. I don't think I said an awful lot. But it was okay, because I had Louis.
Theo and I flew back to the UK without our parents, and for a while they were classed as missing people. But after 6 weeks or so, their bodies were discovered and identified. Couldn't process it. It was shock, it was disbelief, it was just a very dark period of time. But then Theo and I were adopted by a family in Cornwall. For such a terrible event, losing your parents at that age, we couldn't have been more fortunate to join the family that we have afterwards. Since the tsunami, the relationship with my brother's become the most important relationship. He's the most important thing in my life.
At this point, we have seen no water level data. We have not seen a tsunami on a measuring device, period. But about this time, something really helped us. Chip had a code on his laptop, and he brought it up and he created a travel time plot for the Indian Ocean. And this was groundbreaking, because now we could see the tsunami. And now we got it. The pieces all fit. And we realized that there are a lot of places not hit yet that can be warned. We've got to do what we can for the people ahead of the wave.